There are actually two things that are really, really big points that will make you choose one or the other. These are going to be the most massive differences. Tiago with classical controllers here, where I review controllers. And today we're going to start with a comparison with the brand new Scuf Valor Pro with Hall effects and the Scuf Instinct Pro. People have been asking about this comparison, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to know. You're going to spend a little bit more on this one. That's the first point. $229 for the Scuf Instinct Pro, and it's been on the market now for quite a while. Now, this one just was introduced recently, the Scuf Valor Pro, and this one, $99. And then some of the special colors are like $109, for example. I did a full review on this one. You can check out the video over here. I'm going to post the link to it. But basically, 229 to 99. That's the MSRP. You can find this one on sale. Like for example, Amazon and Best Buy often have the Scuf Instinct Pro on sale for $189 is what I'll usually see it for. And then this one is a brand new controller, so we haven't seen any sales yet. But that's pretty much what you're talking about when you're looking at the price. They're both pretty easily available. You can order a custom Instinct Pro on the Scuf website if you want to do all sorts of different faceplates and button configurations, or you can just buy a stock bad boy like this. I happen to think that this, the steel gray looks really good. You can get that in the Valor Pro as well. But you can order these stock, like or go to your local Best Buy. They have this controller in stock, often in like white, the black version, different variations. This one, since it just came out, it's kind of sold out in some places, but you should eventually be able to buy it on both Amazon. That's actually where I ordered this one before it got sold out. And you can also buy it at Best Buy, of course, with Scuf as well. So one difference, you can right now customize the Instinct Pro. So if you don't want a stock one, on the Scuf website, you change everything that you want to change on it, thumbsticks and colors. The only like performance option you can add to this, which is interesting but not necessary, you hear the bumpers? These are going to be the tactile bumpers. You can actually put like the instant bumpers so they sound more like this. So they sound more like the trigger. That's the only performance option that you can actually customize. Most people think that myself included, that the Xbox bumpers are really good. There are actually two things that are really, really big points that will make you choose one or the other. These are going to be the most massive differences. Hall effects on the Scuf Valor Pro. A lot of people do like the thumbsticks on the old Instinct Pro. So you may have to get used to the Hall effects on this one. I'm going to put up the gamepad testers. Obviously, with Hall effects, you greatly minimize any chances of stick drift and things like that. It can technically still get some form of it, but it's much more rare. It's not really common. And then obviously it's a little better engineered in a sense, even though from what I've read, I don't think these are necessarily the best Hall effects on the market that Scuf has put in here. They may be case silver or something like that. I just briefly read it, but basically it's still Hall effects. And then this is a traditional potentiometer. That means you can get stick drift. That seems to be people's biggest complaints about reliability sometimes with not only Scuf, but controllers in general, Xbox controllers, PlayStation. So that's going to be a huge factor if you want Hall effects or the traditional potentiometer. At this point, it's nice to have the Hall effects. It's going to depend on the second huge thing that really differentiates both of these controllers. And that may make your decision right there. This one is, you see I'm holding it like this, but really you need to put the wire. Now, it's going to be USB-C to USB-A. Scuf does give you this very nice cable. I believe it's like about 10 feet or 3.3 meters or something like that. So you have to use a wired connection for the Scuf Valor Pro. That could be a benefit to some. On the PC, you're going to get a 1,000 hertz polling rate, which is like really good. So that Some people like playing wired. If you're really hyper competitive, certainly not having a battery maybe makes the controller a little bit lighter, but you do have that cable to move around with. It's a very high quality cable that you get in the box, and it kind of, it's a light grade, a color match the controller, so that's all fine. I have another Scuf Valor Pro with a black cable. That's because that's a controller that has that nuclear theme on the faceplate, so it's more of a black theme. So that's what you get in the box. And then obviously the Xbox controller that's wireless here is going to be the Instinct Pro. I personally really like wireless. If you're playing on the Xbox, it's really easy to pair. You just hold the button on top. And then even on the PC, I actually have one right here. I definitely recommend you guys get this. This is going to be the official Xbox wireless adapter for PC. And yes, Scuf controllers do work with this wireless adapter. You don't need just a stock Xbox controller. You can pair up to 8 controllers, and I've done that because I'm kind of a controller. I have a controller problem basically, but I love controllers, so I've paired 8 controllers to this. That's the point. But you can do it, and it pairs perfectly every single time, basically. You can also do it via Bluetooth, and I don't like pairing via Bluetooth. It's not even because it feels like it's more latency or anything like that, which this is better, the wireless adapter. A lot of times when you go to pair it again after you turn your computer off, like it doesn't find it, you got to redo it. Bluetooth is a hassle. But with the wireless, official wireless connector, and they make other third-party ones as well, but I only like using the official one. It makes the connection like absolutely amazing, and it's definitely recommended. People ask if it's compatible with Scuf, and it is, because deep down, this is just an Xbox controller, really, aside from the modifications that Scuf does. So that's going to be the biggest difference. If you're okay with wired, the Hall effects is definitely going to be the second thing that's going to pull you towards that. If you want a wireless feel, this one is going to be definitely the way to go. You could third party put on your own Hall effect sticks or TMR sticks that are a little bit better now. But that you either need a high skill set because it's tricky to do on Xbox controllers compared to even PlayStation 5 controllers, or pay somebody to do it. I don't know if it's worth it unless you actually get stick drift. The jury is still out on like competitive gaming, how Hall effects is going to feel and it's going to be. We don't know yet if it's going to be better. Some people don't like the feel. Some people don't think it's so. Right now, it's just because it's Hall effects doesn't mean you have to get this one because it's the latest thing, right? So let's talk about some other features that maybe aren't as vital but still very important. Both of them do have the faceplate that you can magnetically remove. See, this is the Valor Pro. You can remove it, and then you see here. The idea is you can go to Scuf's website and order different faceplates if you want to change the look of it. Right now, they do sell different Valor Pro controllers with faceplates, but I haven't seen them sell the faceplates individually. Obviously, the Instinct Pro does the exact same thing. And for the Instinct Pro, Scuf does sell the faceplates. I believe they're like $29.99. For Black Friday, they had them on sale for like half off. But you can get, if you want to get an orange one, you get that. If you want a different design, you can get that. So it's extremely easy to customize your controller. And while we're in here, the thumbsticks, you just pop right off as well. And you can get different color thumbsticks. Scuf sells them, I think, kits of like $14, something like that. Both of these controllers do come with additional thumbsticks. You're going to get concave, like in this case here, and you're also going to get domed thumbsticks. So you do get both in the box with both controllers. Both controllers also come with a USB cable that you can use with this one, and you have to use with the wired one, of course. So far, the parity is pretty close. After we talk about wired and Hall effects, you see they get a lot closer. Now, the D-pad is going to be just going to be regular, Xbox D-pad on both, no tactile, membranes, although it is tactile, to be fair. They sound similar. The Valor Pro, a little smaller. Ergonomically, in general, the Valor Pro is the smaller controller. If I can show you here, if you can take a look, it's a little smaller and you can feel it in your hand as well. So the D-pads are very similar, not too much different. You have all your menu buttons and things like that. And then the actual buttons themselves, they're both going to be membrane buttons. They're not going to be micro switches or anything like that. So it's a little smaller on the Valor Pro, and this is how it sounds like on the Instinct Pro. Just like an Xbox controller. And the Valor Pro as well. Maybe it's a little tighter of a sound, but it's very similar. Once again, not a micro switch. Probably the biggest difference you're going to get on the front of the controller or near it. On the Instinct Pro, you just have a little bit of a mute button here that lights up. On the Valor Pro, you have volume control. You're going to see right down here, you have the little toggles here that you can adjust volume and set it up in different ways. For your headset, they both do have the 3.5 millimeter connection on the bottom. So that's very, very cool, actually. The other Scuf controller that has similar things are going to be the Envision Pro PC controller. That one also has volume control and all the buttons on the bottom. But this one, you can adjust your volume on the controller. That's very handy. Like when you're playing, if you have your headset on, you don't have to take it off. So that's certainly a very, very good feature. So now they both have the Xbox button, obviously, but this Xbox button actually doesn't light up. You got a light on the top. It has 3 lights on top. This one does. That's a very small little thing. Going to the top, the bumper, this is how the bumper sounds like on the Valor Pro. Sounds very good. Some type of a micro switch or something like that. And the bumper on the Instinct Pro, like an Xbox controller, more like a tact switch. The bumper on the Valor Pro is certainly better. It's also contoured, so you have a little bit different of a design. And it sounds really cool. I love the sounds and the clickiness of these controllers. So on that sense, I like the bumper design better on the Valor Pro. It just sounds better. And then the all-important triggers. A lot of similarities here. This is how the Instinct Pro sounds. It's a very tight actuation. It makes it a hair trigger pretty much. And then this one, you have maybe a little more actuation travel, and it sounds good. It's like a little bit of a deeper travel, not by much, but they definitely sound different. This one feels tighter. I have a other Instinct Pro that also feels pretty tight with the triggers, which some people like that because it's like you got a very fast response. This one too, it's a little more tactile. I think it sounds good. So it's kind of a wash. They sound very good. And of course, on the back, you can, there's a little switch on the back of both controllers that after you pull the switch on both sides, you'll see here. Now you get the full movement of the trigger. It's no longer a hair trigger. And then it just sounds like a regular Xbox controller. I'll do that on the Instinct Pro as well. This one's maybe a little more dampened, the Instinct Pro. But then you get the full travel. Let's say if you're playing a racing game or something like that, like Forza Horizon, you can get the full travel. You're going to play an FPS, you put it back to the clicky triggers. It's a little easier to actuate on the Valor Pro. Overall, I like the bumpers and the triggers a little bit better on the Valor Pro. I think they just feel a little bit better. This one feels a little bit tighter, and then the bumpers are just a little step below the bumpers on this one. Then we get to the back. You're going to have your profiles that you can change. Both controllers can do profiles, and you can remap the paddles. That's all pretty much a given. You're going to have 4 buttons or paddles on both. There is a difference, aside from the battery door, obviously, on the Instinct Pro. This one doesn't have a battery because it's wired. The paddles, that's how they sound like. They sound and feel not too far apart for the first 2 paddles, but then the paddles that are on the inside, it's harder to actuate on the Scuf, and you can hear it's more of a harder noise on the Scuf Instinct Pro. On the Valor Pro, it's more of a little micro switch, and I think it sounds better. It's lighter. It's easier to actuate. So I think they improved the design on the Valor Pro in general for the paddle design. It's a little bit easier to actuate. Even though I like the paddles on the Instinct Pro, it's not bad at all. I do think they've changed some design things, and it's better here. And then the last thing on the back, they both have the grips. Slightly different design, but they both feel very similar. Very nice grips. Usually, I recommend going with the black grips just because I think it wears better over time if you play a lot. And remember, always wash your hands when you play with your controller. Never eat and play with it. That's just a little recommendation. I always wash my hands because the controller gets really dirty in the middle here. I've seen other people's controllers full of grime and stuff. You don't want that. But anyway, this looks really nice, the white controller with the white back, but it's going to wear a lot faster. I've seen these gray, yellow. This one's brand new, so it's going to look nice. But that's something to keep in mind. The black one may wear better if you play a lot. And I know you're going to wash your hands when you play with the controller, so likely not too much of a problem. So those are the main differences between these controllers. So let's summarize the big ones. They're both Xbox controllers, but wired versus wireless. That's going to be the first thing you have to ask yourself. If you're okay with wired, then it opens up other possibilities. Hall effect versus potentiometer. It will give you peace of mind that Hall effect should, last longer without stick drift. It's going to be a little bit more reliable, so it definitely has its positives. And then obviously the biggest factor here perhaps might be price. You might be able to overlook two of the other factors because of the price. Without a sale, $229 versus $99 or $109 for some of the special colors. So that's a massive difference. That's a $120, $130 difference depending on which one. But MSRP to MSRP is a $130 difference. So you can buy two of these in different colors for different setups compared to one of this. And this is definitely not twice as good as this. In many ways, I feel like the Valor Pro is better than the Instinct Pro. Obviously, the Hall effects a little bit better. I like the feel of the controller a little bit better. I think the bumpers and the triggers are more tactile. I love the volume wheel on the bottom. Aside from that, it's very similar in many ways. The wired is going to be the biggest issue for people. If you're okay with wired, then I think this is the controller to get right now over this one. That's going to be the biggest thing. So that's going to be my thoughts on this. I definitely recommend the Valor Pro more than this one. If you can live with the wired, of course, and you're saving a lot of money, you can get two of these for one of these. That's a pretty good difference there. All right, guys, so remember to subscribe. Remember to smash that like button. Let me know which one you would choose, and I'll see you guys on the next video.